interfaces with synapses or nearest equivalent to draw electric power directly from the wearer's body. It's hard in this age for any warrior to find their inner peace. Our constant state of struggle breeds chaos in the world and in our hearts. The Raiden Flux channels that chaos, regulates it by mapping and defining the wearer's true spiritual center. It is science merged with belief in the healing power of one's own natural energies, but there is more. The Raiden Flux is an amplifier of those energies. It seeks the spark in you and bolsters its charge, redirecting your innermost power that it may serve as an extension of your very will. The staff then acts as a conduit, through which one may forcibly deliver peace when such action is required. This seems a contradiction, to be sure. It is not. Because at its heart, peace defines war, and peace is war's end. Gao Senyata, forger of the Raiden Flux. Hello everybody, and welcome to the video. Now today, in Destiny 2, we will be reviewing the Raiden Flux. I hope you guys like that intro. That's the way I'm going to start most of the reviews if the weapon has lore on them. But besides that, everybody sit back and get ready for the review on the Raiden Flux. Personally, this is one of my favorite exotics, and I love using it on the Arcstrider subclass ever since the game launched back in September. Personally, to me, it's my favorite. I've already said that, but you know what I mean. I use it every time I use the Arcstrider, and I use the Arcstrider, well, always, to be honest, but we're going to get into the review. As per usual, we will be reviewing it in PvE standards and PvP standards. I was going to do the raid, but due to the fact that the raid data got corrupted, I will literally just be talking about it as we go on here forward. So I'm going to be reviewing things out of 5 for you new guys. 5, on a scale of 1 to 5, if it's good in PvE, PvP, and overall, we're going to change it up to my opinion if you guys should use this or not. Now, this review is entirely under my perception. If you don't like the exotic, that's fine. Sorry if that was loud. That's fine, but please do me a favor. Keep your comments to yourself, or comment down below why you don't like the weapon or armor piece. Thank you guys very much for, tuning in, and let's get into the review. The Raiden Flux is a hunter exotic chess piece. Its main perk is Synapse Junctions. Quick successive attacks with Arc Staff increase its damage output and duration. And the other 2 perks that I have on it, at least, it could have different ones, is increased resilience and increased health. And at the very bottom I have class things regenerate faster, so grenades and melee. And then I have the Callus selected shader. That plays no part in my review, just thought I'd show you what my things I have on it, and then the ability to start. So in the upcoming clip here, guys, I'm going to show you the comparisons on how much longer the Raiden Flux lasts. So this is me not wearing the Raiden Flux. And as you can see, I take out a crowd of Cabal in the Inverted Spire Strike, and the super lasts for a relatively long time. I mean, it lasts about 10 to 15 seconds. But when we go into the next clip, and as you can see, it runs out fairly quickly when you need it. But if I go into the next clip, right here through the power of video editing, and I use it, and, I clear a big, of course it's 2 different strikes, but as I clear a big group of Taken, as you guys can see, I, just pummel them to death. I mean, I just do so much damage to them, and the super lasts a lot longer. For some reason, my picture cut out, so I wasn't able to show you guys the other 20 that I killed, but it lasted about 25 seconds, and it can last as most as, well, I've seen about 45 seconds to a minute. So right then and there, this thing is ideal for PvE ad clearing. Now, as we move on to the boss aspect right here, so as you guys can see, in this one, I'm on the boss, and every time you hit the boss, you get a stack of up to 3 Synapses Junctions, and that increases the duration if you kill enemies, and the damage, which just pummels the boss. As you guys can see in the clip, his health is just taking a beating from my combined power of hitting him continuously with just the R1, R1, R1. This is on PS4, bear in mind you. And then, right bumper, right bumper, right bumper, whatever it is in Xbox terms. And it is good for almost every single strike boss, except for, I'd personally say the Invisible Bastard, just because it's harder for you to, hit him, and then the eye from the Osiris strike, of course, and Savathun's song, but that's getting out of hand. It can pummel most bosses, and it destroys ads. Now, of course, it cannot hit Callus because you have to stay on the plate to be able to damage him, but it is good in some sections of the raid. Both Gauntlet and Baths are a little bit more trickier. If you're a plate guy on Gauntlet, not so much. And in Baths, basically clearing middle is the only time it's good for. And then, if you're a runner on Gauntlet, again, you can clear the ads. But besides that, it's not that good for those two aspects of the raid. But then again, I don't mind that part. As for dogs and the middle room clearing, it is really good for dogs just because you can continuously do a heaping ton of damage on the dogs, and you can do a heaping ton of damage to all the ads in the middle room, so then you can easily open up the doors if you go that route, or if you go onto the ship like most people do. And, it's just a fun experience for me to use this in the raid, just to gun down guys as Darth Maul. That's basically what I call it. I call it the Darth Maul subclass. So overall, from my personal opinion, from PvE standards, the raid, strikes, sandbox, basically strikes transfer onto sandbox, I would have to give it, from my personal term, probably about a 4.5 out of 5, just because of the fact that it is versatile in every single part of PvE, except for some parts in the raid. Now, I have personally not had the time nor the pleasure of doing the new raid lair, so I would not know if it's good in there against the boss. From the gameplay that I've seen, I would assume not. Golden Gun would probably be better with Celestial Nighthawk, but we'll go from there. So this is PvE 4.5, roughly out of 5. And now we're going to move on to PvE, which is a very quick aspect for me. So now that we move on to Crucible, the caliber of Crucible is a little bit more, black and white. This thing is only really good when you have your super. It doesn't really give you any other abilities, such as any other weapons or exotics. So that's a big problem. Shut up, computer. I'm trying to do this. And, it's nice when you have a big group of enemies, such as PvE, and you got a boss you can continuously do damage to. But in PvP, the Raiden Flux, the abilities just aren't mastered enough. It's not really that good. As you can see in the following clip, most of this is me just chasing down one guy with an RPG or a rocket launcher, whatever you want to call it. And that's basically all the weapon, all the exotic is used for is big groups of enemies. So, it's more of a PvE exotic. PvP is not as much. So, in PvP, I'd have to give the Raiden Flux, and this, I'm not just half-assing this part, it's just because I played through many Crucible games with this thing, and personally, I'd have to give it Crucible variance, variancy-wise. God, what's a good number? I don't even know a good number to give it. I would probably give it 2.5 out of 5. Now, that's the real unfortunate part, is this weapon, sorry, I keep calling it a weapon. This armor piece is so good in PvE, but in PvP, it's just not as good. It can take down a super, yes. Can it kill a whole group of enemies? Potentially, yes. Can it murder whoever you want? Yes. But does it help you throughout the entire match once or twice? It doesn't help you against the entire match. In Mayhem, Arcstrider is useless because of all the Titan smashes. So, therefore, guys, I'm going to close off Crucible. That's that. So now we move on to the final verdict of what I would give it out of 5. Not from PvE and PvP, but, combined out of 10, it gets about, let's add those up, 7.7, no, just straight up 7 out of 10, which is good, But in my review, this thing gets a 10 out of 10 just because I'm mainly a PvE player. But overall, 7 out of 10, that's a pretty good exotic. Personally, I would highly recommend it to any hunter that runs an Arc Strider in any strike, in any, raid, personally, if you like using Arc Strider. Now, that's the unfortunate part is while the armor piece does give you an edge when your super's active, it unfortunately does not give you an edge when your super's inactive, like faster reloading speed or anything like that, which is a big problem with Destiny 2 is a lot of other stuff a lot of other weapons and stuff do give you that. So I don't know why I keep calling it weapon, but that's gonna end the review, guys. Tell me in the comments down below what you guys think the next weapon or armor piece should be out of any exotic or any gun. I'll personally review it, and after the review, I want to do about 1 or 2 reviews a week now. I got a lot more time on my hands. Work is both slow and fast. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Peace out.